the doctor came in and said, Mr. Boone, you had a stroke. You had a stroke yesterday. And one of the things that I remember, that they said that whenever you feel the symptoms of a stroke, you got a 3-hour window to get to the doctor. But you know, I laid in my bed for 7 hours. 7 hours. But you know, there is nothing too hard for God. Amen. And I remember the next day the doctors began to come in and do all kinds of tests and had me with the walker walking down the hall because I couldn't walk by that time. And I remember they came in to do different things, and I remember I wasn't able to pick up a penny with my hand. Couldn't pick up a paper clip. Hard as I tried, I couldn't pick up nothing. But do you know that there is nothing, absolutely nothing too hard for my God? And they kept me in the hospital, and 3 days later, they sent me home, and then they had me coming back, and they were trying to figure out why I had a stroke. But you know, God knew, because there was something else going on in my body. Amen. Do you know that God will set you up just to bring you out? Did you know that? God will allow one thing to happen that's directed with something else. Don't you know what's happening today in our lives could be connected with something that's going to take place next year and the year after and 3 years from down the line? Do you understand that? Amen. And they sent me to doctors, and they were trying to figure out why I had the stroke, because my blood pressure was fine. So they took me to the neurologist to check my brain, took me to the heart doctor to check my heart, took me to the speech doctor, to the therapist, the sleep disorder, every doctor they could think of, they took me to try to find out why I had that stroke, because my doctor said I was in good health. And I went to my primary doctor, and he was sitting there flipping through papers. Let me tell you. Flipping through papers, and scratching his head. And he said, Mr. Boone, I'm a doctor. And he said to me, this is my report. This is all the papers they went through, trying to find out what was wrong with me. And he said, Mr. Boone, I'm a doctor, and I'm paid to find out why things happen. But he said, I don't know why you had this stroke, but God knew why I had this stroke. Because during the time of the test, the doctor called me and said, Mr. Boone says, there is something wrong with your prostate. Say, you have a PSA that is very high, and you must have an infection in your prostate. And we're going to give you some medicine to clear it up. Well, they gave me medicine, and it didn't clear it up. And he said, Mr. Boone, we're going to do a biopsy, and we're going to take some tissue, amen, to find out why you got a level 6 on your prostate. And they sent my lab work to Richmond, and they called me back in and sit down and said, Mr. Boone, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but you got cancer in your prostate. Amen. And he said, we found 3 spots of cancer on your prostate. But the good news is that it's still contained in the center. Amen. And we could do something about it. But if I hadn't had the stroke, they would have never discovered the cancer. Amen. But God saw the cancer when the doctors couldn't even see it. Amen. And God allowed the stroke to happen so that they could find the cancer that they say I did not have. The doctor said, you don't have nothing. But Jesus said, there is something going on in your body. And they took me through these treatments for radiation. I went through 25 treatments, and they reminded me of all of the side effects that I would have. But I didn't have not one side effect. Not one side effect. Did you know that there is nothing too hard for my God. There is nothing beyond him, nothing above him. There is nothing, absolutely nothing too hard for our God. Amen. I went back last Thursday to see my urologist. He had did the blood work on me. And he called me and he said, Mr. Boone, he said, there is no cancer. Zero. There is no cancer. Nowhere. Stroke? I don't know about the stroke. I don't know about the stroke. I don't know about the stroke. I can jump on my left side. I can lift my left hand. Oh my goodness. There is nothing, absolutely nothing too hard for our God. Amen. So I'm a witness. I came here today to let you know, and to let you know, and to let you know, if your confidence is in God, cast not away your confidence, because you know what? There is nothing, there is absolutely nothing too hard for my God. God bless you.